Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time, welcome to ADU1's live webinar regarding multifamily ADUs. I'm Helen Fowler. I'm the director of ADU1 and Retrofit 1, and we'll be going over today your just general rules about multifamily ADUs, a little bit about single family as well, state law, city ordinances, how many ADUs you can add, and so forth. Just a little bit of background. ADU1 was developed last year in conjunction with the state law that is now allowing for ADUs in multifamily residences. We're a division of Retrofit 1, which has been serving multifamily properties, HOAs, now for years regarding seismic retrofitting. We are also part of another larger company called Repipe One Restoration, which again serves multifamily communities, HOAs, with water damage restoration, mold detection, leak detection, reconstruction, remodeling, rehabilitation, reconstruction after the water damage and mold, anything like that, rebuilding, partial kitchens, full kitchens, bathrooms, living rooms, everything like that. So we have been servicing multifamily communities, HOAs, and single-family residences now for about 10 years. And this division specifically specializes in ADUs, again, regarding the new state law that passed in 2020. So if you have any questions, please reach out in the chat. I will be able to get to them after the presentation because I am going to share my screen. And when I do that, I can only see the presentation, and you guys will be able to see the presentation as well as me. And I will get to the chat afterwards. But hopefully I'll be able to cover a lot of your questions within the presentation. So let's begin. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Yes. All right. So again, we do this weekly. We discuss, the rules, the law, everything like that. You can answer questions. You can always send them ahead of time. And if you have any questions that we don't get to, during the presentation, here's our contact info right here. Feel free you can reach us through our website, apartmentadu.com. You can give us a call or you can email us, and we will give you any information needed for your specific property. So for anybody unfamiliar, an ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. It's a dwelling unit that is an accessory to the primary building, whether it's the home or the multifamily property. And it has to have independent living facilities, such as a kitchen, bathroom, and a communal space. You may have heard other terms like granny flats, in-law suites, guest house. There's several names. We just refer to them as ADUs. They've historically been used in single-family homes, expanding the home, additions, when any family has to come stay, whether it's adult children or elderly parents. What we specialize in really is rental income. So we help really maximize your rental income through the accessory dwelling units. For multifamily properties, of course, that's pretty much the only purpose for the ADUs, increasing your unit count and increasing the value of your entire property as well, because it's going to increase your monthly income and rental income from the entire property. And for single family homes as well, if you plan to rent it out, we will help maximize the rent that you can obtain from the ADU, whether it's informing you how many, the size you can do, bedrooms, and kind of showing you as well what the comps are in the area for your proposed sizes, bedrooms, and so forth. So In multifamily, when we get into how many you can do, there's obviously, a difference between should I do two smaller units versus one larger. And our reports can show you exactly that, what you can obtain and get for each one. The types of ADUs that you can do, and this is for both single family and multifamily, you can do attached or detached. This example here is a single family home that has a garage conversion, which is an attached ADU. For multifamily properties, it's a little different. You can do attached, but most cities only refer to attached as conversions. It has to be internal conversions, space that already exists and is uninhabited. Some cities allow you to use laundry rooms, some don't, so we can find that out for you. But it has to be areas like tuck under parking, which is the parking underneath units, part of the building, attached garages, attached storage, basements, recreational rooms, things like that. So it has to already exist, and that's what you can convert under the label of attached ADUs for multifamily properties. For detached, it can also be conversions, converting detached structures, detached garage, detached storage, something like that, a shed, whatever it is. Or it can be ground up construction. If you have extra space on the lot or land in the yard, you can just build a new unit from scratch there. Here's just an example of a detached ADU. It is not part of any of the existing primary structure. You typically have to be at least 6 feet away from the primary structure. Some cities require 10 feet away. So here's an example. Unless, of course, that space is legal and it already exists and you're just converting it, then you can typically keep it as is. Quantity. So how many ADUs can I add? For multifamily properties, you're allowed at least one unit. This is, to say for duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and so forth. You can do at least one attached ADU and up to 25% of the current number of units. So at the bottom, it has some examples. If you have a 12-unit building, you can do 3 attached ADUs. If you have a 22-unit building, you can do 5 attached. So it's 25% rounded down because obviously you can't have half a unit or anything like that. For single-family homes, generally speaking, you're allowed 1 ADU, and that can be attached, detached, an addition, whatever you want to do. However, if your home is owner occupied, so if you plan to live in your home, you can do 1 ADU and 1 junior ADU. Junior ADU has other rules. It has to be part of the internal home. It can't be detached or new construction addition, anything like that. And you're also capped at 500 square feet. So the owner has to either live in the primary home or the junior ADU in order to have a junior ADU. So even if you live in it now and you have the idea to turn your single family home into a triplex, which you technically can do, the primary home, an ADU, and a junior ADU, if you plan to move at any time, you cannot rent out that junior ADU separately. It can still be there, but it has to be rented as part of the entire home, because when you are doing permitting and all of that, you do enter into a covenant for all of your ADUs for many rules, but for single family homes, especially with the junior ADU, it is the owner occupancy rule. Also, something we get a lot regarding rentals of the ADUs, they cannot be rented short term for under 30 days. They must be leased or rented for longer than 30 days. This is obviously to prohibit the use of Airbnbs, stuff like that, short-term rentals, because the reason California even allowed all of this and removed a lot of the red tape and are just trying to push for this is to increase affordable housing. So if everybody did this just for the purpose of short-term rentals and Airbnb, it would defeat that purpose. And all of these rules that I just went over were for attached ADUs. For single family, it's all across the board. For detached, For multifamily properties, you're also allowed in most cases up to 2 detached units. That is in addition to the 25% or the at least one ADU attached that you can do. Sometimes you're also allowed to do on top of existing garages or carports. If you have an open lot with uncovered parking, we are in the process of designing carports now, building a carport, covered carport with the 2 units on top. So in most cities, that's also an option. That way you can still preserve most of the parking. We try to preserve all of them if possible. Sometimes you do lose one parking spot because of the stairway. But this way you can preserve most, if not all, of your parking spots, uncovered parking spots, have new covered parking, and capitalize on the 2 units that you're allowed to do. Again, for single family residences, you're still only allowed that one ADU, sometimes a junior ADU if you live in it. On the right, we have here the cities that do not allow both configurations, meaning both attached and detached. Long Beach, Santa Clarita, Torrance, Glendale, Costa Mesa. There's a few more. There's also some cities that will not allow you to build on top of garages or carports. Glendale and West Hollywood are 2 of them that come to mind. And if your city is very rigid with the height limit, which many cities have adopted a 16-foot height limit based off the state's law. So if they cap you at 16 feet, some cities allow our engineer or any engineer to design it in a specific way, kind of, maybe a couple of steps that lead down to the front door of the first unit or the carport, whatever it is. Some allow us to design in a certain way to meet the 16 feet. Some do not, and they say they measure the entire structure 16 feet, which only allows for 1 story. So again, if you're concerned about that, we'll be able to find out and let you know if your city would allow this. But many do. Many do allow you to build on top of the garages and carports, again, which preserves parking and gets you the units on top. Something mentioned, we are a part of Retrofit 1, which is our seismic retrofitting division. Something amazing that you can do if you have a building like the one here on the left. This is a building in Westwood, close to or next to UCLA, part of Los Angeles, California. But these types of buildings are seen all across California, San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, and all over LA, even Ventura, everywhere, Burbank. These, the parking right here, this is what's referred to as tuck under parking. It's underneath these units. They're considered vulnerable and weak buildings due to earthquakes. They've collapsed in the past. Tenants and residents have lost their lives. Buildings have been damaged, lots of money lost, lots of lives lost, really awful. So many cities throughout California have been implementing a required mandate, basically a required ordinance for seismic retrofitting. What's cool about this is we can actually combine your seismic retrofitting requirements with the development of ADUs when the ADUs are done in these tuck under areas. And what seismic retrofitting is, as mentioned, it's related to earthquake. We are structurally reinforcing the exterior of the building. As you see here, we're using a steel moment frame, which is the red steel element you see. We are affixing it to the building, to the exterior already there, exterior framing, rim joists, stuff like that. And we're also doing some foundation work. That's going to have a lot of rebar foundation work, which is now these elements are meant to absorb the lateral force of the earthquake, increasing the safety of the building. And here are some examples. If you see here, this is just a rendering, but you'll see the transparency for sake of the rendering so we can see it. Those red beams are just like the moment frame that you saw. They're embedded and incorporated within the wall of the ADU. So this was done for a building that the owner wanted to see kind of a visual of what would happen. Converting these spots into ADUs while also seismically retrofitting the building at the same time. And we would make it so that you're still getting your inspections, passing all requirements and meeting all requirements for the seismic retrofitting. But now instead of only spending the money for the retrofitting, which has no monetary gain, but of course it does have invaluable gain with safety. And in this case, you're getting the ADUs and you are retrofitting the building at the same time and also getting more monthly income while meeting your city's requirements. This is also needed, even if you're saying my city doesn't even need this. If you ever plan to refi your building or buy a new building that's tucked under, the bank very well may require you to retrofit your building. So we work with a lot of bank requirements as well to get the building up to the seismic retrofit level that they are requiring. So you can do this in either case, add the ADUs and retrofit at the same time. Here's another example with a steel beam in the middle. And if we don't need to use steel, we can also use what's called shear walls. It's another retrofitting element that would be embedded into the walls of the new enclosure walls of the ADU. In this case, this owner wanted to see 1 unit in the tuck under area and 2 new detached ADUs. So they're allowed to be attached. So you basically can get a duplex, an additional duplex on your lot, using unused space on the lot or land, space permitting, of course, because we do still have to conform to building separation and setbacks. But we go over all of that with you. So here's some samples of current projects that we're doing. This right here is an ADU on top of a carport. It is roughly 360 square feet, which, believe it or not, still gets you a great size 1-bedroom unit with a living room, cool kitchen, full bath, and a bedroom. Our engineer is really an expert between the seismic retrofitting and the ADUs, so we're able to design almost anything. Here's another project we're working on. These are 2 ADUs that are attached. So again, we're creating a duplex in the rear of this property. And again, believe it or not, these 2 units are roughly 400 to 420 square feet each. And the owner requested or asked, is there any way to make them 2 bedrooms? Because in this area that he's in, he knows the 2-bedroom units are going to get him the most income. So looking over here, I don't think you guys can see my cursor, but if you look to the right, it's like an upside down L shape where the living room and kitchen are, and the 2 bedrooms, a full bath, washer and dryer, and kitchen. And then the left unit, also 2 bedrooms, a full bath, washer and dryer in the unit, small living room, and kitchen, but totally sufficient. Will get him good income. We put as many windows as possible so they're all light and bright and just look really good. They're brand new, so they're all very beautiful units that you're getting. Here's another example of building on top of an existing carport. This carport's in the back, 2 units. If you see in the middle, that is the staircase. The staircase is underneath, so it's within the carport in the middle. And there will be parking to the left and right of those stairs. And there's 2 units here. In this case, they were, about 600 square feet, a little more for each. But in this case, the owner just wanted 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath for each. That's what he says makes the tenants in his area happiest. Larger units, more spacious units. And he didn't want to do the 2 bedrooms. He just wanted large 1-bedroom units. So this is what he got. Here's another example. On the left shows what is existing. Right now it's like a water heater room with 7 parking spots. And I believe the trash was just in that kind of right angle empty corner. So what we are proposing will be 2 units again. We're relocating that water heater, moving it into the corner, and we're seeing if the owner wants to upgrade to tankless water heater. It's going to save so much space as well as just be more efficient. And then he can have these 2 units. Again, same owner, so he just wanted these 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath. So we work with what the owner wants and, of course, what's feasible within the law. In this case, this is an example where we did the retrofitting and ADUs at the same time. This is 1 building with tuck under parking, larger tuck under in the back and one tuck under spot in the front. So there's a lot of these style buildings. They're often referred to as dingbat buildings. You'll see them. They have like one parking spot in the very front with like an existing pipe column. It looks like a pole holding up the building in that corner with one parking spot. And then the rear has several parking spots all stuck together. So in this case, we're doing 2 ADUs. The one in the front is really just about, I think, maybe 140, 150 square feet. So it is an efficiency unit, efficiency kitchen, full bath, closet, and communal area there, living room / bedroom. And in the back is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, larger unit, utilizing all of the parking spots. Here's some work we're doing right now. We're excavating in the rear to put an ADU, as well as doing some reconstruction for the front home. So I know I spoke a lot about using garages, carports, tuck under parking, stuff like that. So of course you might be asking, so what do we do with parking? Where's the parking going to go? So within the initiative to increase housing, something that they're doing to motivate and help increase the creation of these ADUs is the state is not requiring the replacement of parking spots when you are using a carport or a garage into an ADU. So if you're converting tuck under parking, carport, or garage to ADUs, you do not have to replace that parking. And if your property is within a half mile to public transit, such as a bus stop, which I think almost every single property is, unless you're in a super rural area, possibly. But every single property we have worked with thus far, even for just, quotes or site visits, have been within a half mile of at least a bus stop. If so, you do not have to add parking either. So we have so far, proposed hundreds of ADUs. Not one of them has needed any type of parking, whether it's replacement or addition. Regarding rent-controlled units, if one or more parking spots are in the rent-controlled unit's lease, you must give them prior notice, at least 30 days. We say 60 days to be on the safe side, and offer them a discount in their rent. This is the information we obtained from the housing department, that they recommend $50 to $200, per spot or per unit, whatever you agree on with your tenant. We always recommend to still speak with a landlord-tenant attorney, speak with the housing department, really get all your ducks in a row and be on the same page. So that way you are well equipped when starting this process. And we recommend starting this process when we start the plans, because the plans alone, between design, working with the owner to create the design and submitting them to the city for plan check, that takes at least 4 to 6 months. So you have time to start those discussions with your tenants about the change of their lease, the reduction of their parking, and finding a good amount of that discount that works for everybody. Another question we get is, how is this going to affect my taxes, Prop 13? What we obtained from at least the LA assessor's option and or office, and from other cities, is that it does not trigger a reassessment for your entire property. The value of the ADU or ADUs is what gets added to what you're already assessed at. So it becomes a blended assessment. And we've been hearing that it's about an average of maybe $1,000 a year. But for rental income, you are getting much more than that for the year. So it's always worth it still. And here's just some other samples of ADUs on top of a detached carport. And here's when we can build a 2-story structure, a new carport, preserving parking, stairway in the middle with the 2 units on top. So that is all. And here we go. So that is basically it for the presentation regarding your rules, how many ADUs you can do, where they can go, just something about what we include in our ADU process. So what we like to do is have a site visit, meet on site to see to see your land, to see the room that you want to convert, see the area where a detached unit could go. That way we can check for eligibility of our process and that we can work with this property. We then would like to meet to discuss, the layout, sizing, pricing, because that really varies per project, whether it's a conversion, whether it involves retrofitting, whether it's ground up construction, anything like that. Every detail counts. We provide the engineering and architectural design, all of the plans needed for your ADU. We handle all of the permitting process with the city, so you don't have to worry about that. And we also, of course, provide full scope construction for your ADUs. We include finishes, fixtures, so everything such as your flooring, doors, lighting, kitchens, countertops, cabinets, faucets, fixtures, bathtubs, toilets, sinks. We include that in the price. So what we've seen so far is that no matter what type of configuration you do, we make sure to help maximize your return on investment, get the most out of these ADUs, to again, just get the most out of your property, get the most out of your ADUs. So if you have any additional questions or have specific property questions, anything like that, feel free to just let us know. Again, our website is apartmentadu.com. You can email me at info@adu-1.com, and you can give us a call at 866 new ADU1. That's 866-639-2381. And we're happy to answer some general questions over the phone, provide you with a feasibility report, and just really, again, help get your property ADU'd and maximize on your monthly income and increase your unit and property value. So that's all for today. Please reach out for anything else. And we will be doing another more formal presentation in August with AGLA, the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles. So feel free to reach out to me. I can send you that. Or I believe if you go to AGLA, which is AAGLA, go to their website, you will be able to see upcoming events. That's in mid-August. So thank you for joining. I'm Helen with ADU1, and I will see you next time. Bye.